What's up, guys? Dr. Matt here. One of the most powerful lessons that I learned is this. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions that you ask yourself and the answers to those questions. So when it comes to health, we have to be asking ourselves very powerful questions. And so I'm going to start off with one that can make all the difference in the world depending on how you answer it. And that question is, how do you know when you're healthy? Now, if you're like most people, what you probably just did is you went internally and you're thinking to yourself, do I have a headache? Do I have any aches and pains? Do I have a fever? Do I have a cough? Is my sinuses clogged? Am I having breathing issues? You're probably going through all those things in your head. And if you do have those things, the answer is probably that you would answer, oh, I guess I'm sick. But then let's look at the other end of the spectrum. If when I asked you that question, how do you know when you're healthy or are you healthy, you would go internally and you would think, well, I feel pretty good, so yeah, I'm healthy. And if you use that logic to answer that question, that is one of the main reasons why our healthcare system and our health as a society is in such a big trouble as we are today. And I'm going to give you an example why that is. Now, imagine that you went out tonight and you were so inspired by this talk that you went out and you went for some fresh seafood. And so you go to your favorite restaurant, you eat a nice grilled or baked piece of fish, and you are thinking, I am on the path to transforming my health. And you're so excited. And you finish eating and you're on the way home, and all of a sudden your stomach starts rumbling and you feel really nauseous. And you look at your significant other and you say, hey, we better get home quickly because I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. Finally, you get home, you race into the house, you run to the bathroom just in time to have a date with the porcelain altar. And you start throwing up and you have diarrhea and your stomach starts hurting. And then you start sweating, you develop a fever, you feel exhausted and run down. And if I walked by you at that very moment, which would be very weird, but let's just say I walked by you at that very moment and I asked you, are you sick or are you healthy? I bet you what you would answer is what? That you're sick, right? But are you really? Hold that for a second. Let me give you another example and then we're going to tie it together. When it comes to cancer and heart disease, I want you to finish this sentence for me. When it comes to cancer and heart disease, if you wait until there are symptoms associated with cancer and heart disease, it's too what? And if you answered late, you were correct. And cancer and heart disease are the leading killers that we have in our society today. And it's no wonder that they're the leading killers because we've been taught that our health is based on how we feel. Yet with cancer and heart disease, if you wait until there are symptoms, it's already too late. So isn't there an issue there? Isn't there a disconnect there? So I gave you an example where you feel really sick and run down because you ate bad food. But are you really sick? Now let's look at defining what health is for a moment. If we look at health is not based on how you feel, but a great definition for health is optimum cellular function. When every single part of your body is functioning optimally, every cell, every tissue, every nerve, every organ is functioning optimally, that's where true health comes from. And so if you ate bad food and you had a bacteria or a virus from that, if your body was healthy, if it was functioning appropriately, what do you think should happen? Exactly what happened when I walked by you. If your body was functioning well, it's going to develop a fever because a fever will fight off the virus or the bacteria. Your body is going to try to get rid of it out of its system, so it's going to throw up and go to the bathroom. You're going to be tired because your immune system requires a tremendous amount of energy, and so your body is going to allocate those resources towards fighting off an infection rather than running a marathon. So even though you feel really bad, your body is actually functioning optimally. I would argue that if you ate that food and you still felt good, that would be unhealthy. So that's an example where you feel bad, but your body is actually functioning well. But let's look at cancer and heart disease. That's an example where you're actually really sick, yet you feel great. And so you can feel good and be sick, like cancer, heart disease, diabetes. You can feel bad and be healthy or expressing health, like food poisoning. You can feel good and be healthy. That's ideal. You could also feel bad and be sick, like end stages of cancer, heart disease, or end stages of diabetes. So you could feel good and be healthy. You can feel good and be sick. You can feel bad and be healthy. You can feel bad and be sick. So how do you know when you're healthy and how do you know when you're sick? If you're confused right now, good. It's designed. This is designed. If you're paying attention, if you're confused, the next 4 talks that we're going to be going through, we are going to be going through exactly how do you know when you're healthy and how do you know when you're sick. And I think you're really going to enjoy this series. So stay tuned. Check your inbox, check your text messages tomorrow, because we are going to start with how do you know when you're healthy, how do you know when you're sick, and what are the steps that you need to do to ensure that you experience the health that you would love to have. We'll see you next time.